Yes.
Cave bats or something, because it'll be all closed up.
You need a water?
No. I have to leave like right after I speak because it's humid tonight and I
Yeah, I talked to Wendy, what do you think of this? She said, come on in, and her supervisor was there.
Call our meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Thank you.
Yeah, real nice.
Okay, we'll start off with the SB Awards, which stands for Exceptional Student Performance this year. We recognize students monthly for exceptional performance at their schools. This award is given to students who are doing well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They demonstrate respect and responsibility towards staff and their peers. They show courage by not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept anyone who bullies. The school board and the district want to recognize these students by celebrating their success at the beginning of each board meeting. Students receive a nice plaque someday maybe, and meet each of our board members, and their names are announced on the website and district newsletter. So I'll hand them out, and please forgive me if I butcher your names. I think we'll start off with high school. We got Colson Wolf. And also from the high school, Trinity Victor.
Good job.
Congratulations.
We move on to the junior high. We've got Alyssa Ellis.
Good job. Good job.
Good job.
Good job, girl.
Also in junior high, Kayla Thomas.
Good job. Good job.
Well done.
Good job, Caleb.
From Foster, Ryder Ferris.
Good job.
Good job. Good job, Ryder.
Also from Foster, Autumn Spellman.
Nice job, Autumn.
Great job.
Hawthorne, Kyle, Kale, Wallum.
Good job, buddy.
Also from Hawthorne, Boston Banks. From Holly, Mason Gonzalez.
Go Mason.
Mason. Oh, great job.
Also from Oak Heights, Brody Carr. Oak Heights again, Jackson Sands.
Good job, Jackson.
Good job. Good job, Jackson.
From charter school, well,
Castaneda.
Castaneda. Also from charter school, Adam Nelson. Be sure to get these to them. All the kids that got one, if you wouldn't mind coming up here and get a picture from Benny.
Stand in the back. Just get used to this. Cool. You'll be.
Alright, we have to kind of like closer together.
There we go.
Here we go, ready? 3, 2, 1. Alright, we're good. Thank you.
We recognize it's a school night, so feel free to leave, but you're more than welcome to stay.
That's a great turnout. Yeah. It's a big group. I think we're missing 4 people.
No, that's always been cool.
We're seeing more and more of the kids come.
All right, let's get started again. On the agenda, we'd like to add a 5D as the Division 22 public comments.
5E.
5D.
And you said that would be what?
Division 22 public comment.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda with the addition of 5D.
I hear Jason. Yeah. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved? I'm sorry, opposed, the same? So moved. And so, there's any regular public comments? All right, certified classified reps. Want to go first, Velma, this time, or you want to follow Steve? I see. All right.
Then I just have to echo.
Hey, would it be okay if Brooke went, guys, because I know she's got it set up for a He-Man volleyball tonight at the high school.
Oh, that's
Is it all
fine.
right if she goes first?
No problem.
You bet.
Just like this? Yep. So thank you guys for letting me speak here again. This is my favorite part. So, homecoming week just started for us. Our theme is Disney, the most wonderful week on earth, because homecoming is the best week of the whole school year. We had our first assembly today, and we had a lot of Disney-themed games like Rapunzel's Tower, Aladdin's Carpet Ride, which is going to be posted to our Facebook and Instagram page soon, and you guys will laugh at it. It was so funny. And our classic dodgeball. We have a variety of dress-up days. Today was class color, so I'm repping my senior shirt. Tomorrow is Sleeping Beauties, so pajamas. Wednesdays, Wonderland Wednesdays, kind of like Wacky Wednesday. And Thursday's Disney Duo. Tonight, as we've mentioned, is He-Man Volleyball at 7:30. All the boys, they get coached by our girl volleyball players. And then Wednesday, we have Powder Puff and Powder Puff Cheer. So the girls play football, the boys cheer for us. Thursday, we have home soccer and volleyball, both at 6. And after that, we have a bonfire, which is our first bonfire since 2019. Lydia Wright in our leadership class has been outreaching the community, seeing who has like any free wood to give. And she's gotten a pretty good pile this year, and I'm really excited for that. Our rosters for He-Man, Powder Puff Cheer, just Powder Puff in general have been way bigger than last year. Students are organizing separate practices for He-Man. I know the senior He-Man team has had like 3 practices already. They're getting into it this year. Overall, our spirits are high. We're really excited to have our first normal homecoming since COVID. Thank you guys.
Good luck.
Is that an SB winner that came in?
It is.
His name? Come on up, Rhodey. Steve, I guess you're up next.
Hard act to follow there, Steve.
That's one of my little wrestlers. He's a tough little kid, too. He's a little late, he's just coming from football practice. You love to see these kids at this age involved and doing some great things. Brooke touched on it briefly, you know, a normal, and I disagree with her. The best week is May week, but that's my favorite. I tell all my students that's my favorite. But this is the first bonfire we've had since 2019. This is going to be the first time that we've had normal for a little while, and so it is a good week. But I want to thank, you know, the school board for the work you guys are doing. Terry, you stepped into a tough situation and you're doing a good job. And congratulations, you just stepped into the realm of grandpa. So that's kind of exciting. Those of us that are there know how cool that is. But I'm really good at it. So, I've said this before, we're off to a good start, and talking with a few of the administrators at the grade schools and listening to the goals they're making as staff is kind of exciting. But I started my 32nd year this year, and I said it the other day that it's a different feel. Right now we have a different feel, and I told my wife that it's one of the best starts I've had to school since I really don't remember when I felt this great about how things are going and the direction we're headed, and the overall excitement that we have. And I'm speaking for the high school in that, but I am seeing that it's district-wide. And this little orange frog thing that I was given a book, asked to read it, and I read it, and I knew the plot going. I knew it early, and but the way it's been adopted and the way it's been taken on by our district, and the orange shirts on Wednesdays, and the positive outlook and things, and we get to choose. We can't control the situation we're in, but we can always control ourselves in that situation. And it's been really positive to see, and it's exciting what's happening from that. We had a great kickoff. That was a lot of fun. I apologize for not being here at the last one. I was working. I just let it slip my mind. So, we had a great start, and things are going good. We're doing some non-negotiables at the high school, and one of the biggest ones was the no cell phones, and that has been one of the most positive things that we have done. And I was the one that kind of balked at it a little bit, because I teach some kids how to use apps in my math for trades, and there's everything they need can be found on their Chromebooks. And when I heard a teacher telling that a student said, we actually have to talk to each other now, it was kind of cool, and we've had some great follow through with our administration on it, and I think that's been great. But also, the no costumes, respect, and it's just been, it's set a climate for us. But you don't hide. Last year wasn't pleasant, and it ended with a tough situation. But how we've started off this year has been really good. I'm going to be visiting with Kevin soon. Here we're going to start talking about the contract, and I feel really confident that we're going to be able to work together on it. And but yeah, this is we're off to a good start. It's kind of fun to be this old and this long in the game, and still be excited about what you're doing. And so I'm pretty excited about what we're doing, and we're gonna keep going through. And it's hard not to be excited when it's October 10th and you're wearing shorts. So, but yeah, so it's going well. I'll be visiting with Kevin soon here, and we're going to be, starting to talk about our contract, and we've got a training coming up this Friday, more Orange Frog. So looking forward to it. Do you guys have any questions for me? Okay,
Thanks, Steve.
thanks,
I
guys.
like the smile.
Yeah,
Didn't see it last year.
it was there.
Velma?
I'm not gonna come up there, I hate being up there. I don't have any bald spot that shows
And don't leave your keys in areas like that.
All in all, Steve's right, it has been a really good start to the year. Kids are so excited to be there without the restrictions that we had last year. I was thinking, we talked to Mark earlier in the week, maybe it was last week, conferences are coming up, they're gonna be normal. We don't have to worry about setting up all of these things for Zooming and all that kind of stuff. Parents get to come in and come into the building and enjoy conferences with teachers and students and all that. That's so exciting to have that keep happening after all the restrictions that we had the last few years. It's just nice to have the feeling that things are back to normal. Have fun.
Any questions for Velma? All right, thanks, Velma. Terry, you and your team were up for a while?
Yes, sir. Okay, so first starting off with our enrollment update. We are up 209 and we are plus 20. So overall, we're at 2,341. October, that's plus 20 over our pre-COVID rate. And so that's what everybody's talking about, where are we compared to where we were before? And so we're actually up 20 students over the pre-pandemic rate. So that's a good feeling. October 3rd was our fall membership report count day, which drives school funding. And so positive enrollment correlates to positive funding. So we'll accept success where we find it. Attendance. For the month of September, our average percentage district-wide was 91.08%. We're shooting for 95%, but 91% for district average blows last year and the year before, just completely out of the water. So being above 90 is a good feeling. We need our students in school so they can learn. And then for September, our attendance champion, as you may recall, we talked about a attendance award, and I have that here behind me. And the attendance award for having the best attendance for September goes to Hawthorne. Hawthorne averaged 94, just a touch over 94%. So congratulations. So way to go, Hawthorne.
Pretty cool trophy, huh, guys?
Yeah, that's spark on top.
Terry, before we go off on that, I noticed 12th grade. Can you explain it?
How so?
Well, it's 137, and looks like last year's class was quite a bit higher than that. So
Yeah, that one is, in my understanding, that's been a small class going through. We've got a bunch of pretty large classes coming up. 1 through 11 are going to be really robust classes, but that one has been small.
Well, I understand what you're saying. It looks like it'd be down 14 from the cohort is down
Yeah.
14, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
no.
wondering if there was anything.
And we lock during the, and we'll see this coming up next couple of years, the graduation rate, over cohort rate starting, is kids that during the pandemic that disappeared. We we had some kids, during the home time, it was easy for some students to disappear. We always try to track down, some of them move. The strange thing was, when we had the ninth grade class come in, the ninth grade class coming from junior high last year, we expected a certain number, I think we're over 200. It's just, some of the numbers are different, but the older kids, we get lost.
1 through 11 are up now. I understand what you're asking. Yeah, so with the senior class, they are down. The other classes you'll see, have rebounded. So biggest portion, honestly, the biggest portion of their high school was impacted. Their sophomore year, their junior year. I think that's what would account for that. Any other questions on that part? Okay, next up, we have an update from teaching and learning.
Thank you for having me share what's going on in the curriculum department. As you are aware, we are updating our ELA curriculum and we are moving forward. We have in your packet, as promised, the top 3 ELA choices from our junior high ELA team, along with the top 3 choices from our high school 9 through 12 ELA team. And the last page, you'll notice that we have scheduled some viewing for the community to come here in the boardroom. We have it on display tonight, and we will have these dates available for our community to come in and look at our curriculum choices, the top 3 from both the junior high and the high school. And we will be here as well to answer any questions or comments, and we will note those and share out the results from that. So I just wanted to let you know that things are moving steadily along with our ELA adoption. We have a very busy year in the curriculum department. We are going to be adopting math this year. We are waiting for ODE to give us their top 10 choices, and then we will continue with the process of curriculum adoption, forming a math team, and then going through and deciding on the top 3 math choices for both. It's actually K-12 for math. So lots of excitement coming up for some new curriculum. We also wanted to note that we are going to ask you for a postponement on our ELL, our English Learners curriculum. We have 12 students currently in our district that are receiving services. We have a fine curriculum right now, but we're due to update that curriculum. Instead of starting in November, we're requesting that we wait till March so that we could finish up our ELA and then move into math and then end with our ELL. And then next year for the 22-23 school year, we will implement all 3 brand new curriculums. So we would definitely like to have your approval on that postponement for our ELL adoption. And it's just from November until the spring. And with that, I would like to share that we are going to present tonight some assessment results. Coming up later on this week, the state will release our OSAS, our state testing results for all of our elementary, our junior high, and our high school. But we are going to ask our principals, our administration tonight to give you a preview of some highlights from our OSAS results. We'll have those available for our families for conferences later on this month. But we wanted to give you all a preview tonight and share some highlights and also share some goals that each one of the buildings have come up with. So lots of excitement. Our kids are back and they're so happy, and we have lots to share. We'll start off tonight with our Sweet Home Junior High, Mr. Looney.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. They said keep it under 15 minutes, so I think I'm good. So probably won't take that long, but we'll be close. Highlights. We tested 96.5% of our students last year. 3.5 slipped past between not being there. So we'll try to improve and continue on. Class size average, we are 20 to 1. 20 students to 1 teacher. State average is 22. We're within 2% of the state average for math and science. So this year our focus for the teachers, they have chosen 2A, which is creating an environment of respect and rapport. So we're trying to teach from us to them and them to us as well. So, and then 3D, which is using assessment and instruction. We have committed to iReady and several other things. So using those assessments to help guide our instruction and focus on the areas that we need to. My focus for this year is communication, not only with staff and students, but to parents as well. So, you have any questions for the junior high? Thank you.
All right. We are very proud of our, all of our students, obviously, but it's been rough. It's going to be a multi-year recovery. We are very proud of our third graders who are at 46% proficient in ELA, and our fourth graders who are at 40% proficient in ELA and 36% proficient in math. All of these were above state averages. We are within a few points overall in the entire school of state averages overall. Fifth grade science students also met the state average at 31%. Number two, overall attendance was higher than state average, which continued into September, as Terry just told you, and thank you for that. Lots of room for improvement across all grade levels building-wide, as I think you're going to see district-wide. Moving forward, through our Guiding Coalition and Site Council monthly meetings, we will be monitoring all of our school-wide systems to increase academic achievement and student learning across the board. And you see they're listed most of our programs. Number two, I don't know why it says 111. It didn't earlier. Number two, focus areas for Danielson teacher evaluation this year are the two indicators, 2A, which is creating an environment of respect and rapport, and 3A, communicating with students. And that's basically communicating the lesson clearly to students. Number three, our attendance team meets weekly this year to share data reports and to discuss individual students. We're sending nudge reminder letters, usually at the fifth absence, doing a variety of student and class incentives such as ice cream parties, assembly recognition, and free drawings for Hawthorne Pride t-shirts. So we have a lot going on at Hawthorne. So thank you guys. Any questions? Okay, thanks.
Good evening, everyone. A little bit shorter than before, but we had some great highlights from last year. We have a lot of areas to improve, but as I was talking to our kids this morning, we can improve. It's not like we have earthquakes every day in Oregon either, but those happen, so sky's the limit. Our fourth grade ELA was above the district's and state average. We were at 59% proficient, which is extremely high. The state average was around 34. So our kids did really well there. And then overall, our entire school was at a level 4. We were almost a level 5, which is the highest for growth in all students in math. So we're not getting to that level that we need to be, but we're growing in the correct direction. So hopefully, future years, we will get to where we need to go. But overall, we have a lot of areas to improve. Our next steps, we're focusing on 2 areas in our Danielson rubric. 3C, engaging students in learning, my teachers selected, and then also participating in a professional community. Our continuous improvement plan is focused on reading improvement through a walk to read model that we're trying out this year. And we are also focusing on improving attendance coming out of COVID. And we're focusing on doing that by creating an environment that's more normal, having fun, having the kids want to be there, them being the ones that are waking mom up to get to school in the morning. So those are the things that we have going on at Holly. Any questions for me, guys? All right. Take it away, Todd.
Thanks, Josh. So as those guys said, looking at the data, it's the pandemic hit us hard. There's no sugarcoating that. We have a lot of work to do with those kids that missed the last couple of years of school. But some of the highlights, our third grade ELA is above the district average. And the thing I'm most proud of is we were rated a level 5, the highest you can be in growth in students with disabilities. So Joan Toll and her team are working their tails off, and those kids showed tremendous growth. So that's really exciting to see that in that subgroup. Overall, like I said, lots of room for improvements. Our focus areas, creating an environment of respect and rapport, that teacher to teacher, teacher to student, student to student, and student back to teacher, as well as participating in a professional community. Our guiding coalition is working on analyzing our school monitoring plan to make sure that we're using data to make our decisions. So really trying to get into it. iReady is going to be phenomenal. It really laid bare where we need to work with our students. It gives us our domains that we need to focus on with each individual kid. So I'm excited for conferences to share that with parents. Any questions for me? All right, thanks.
A little different for me to go last. I gotta get my head on straight here. Currently, we are very, very proud of Foster Elementary of our academic success the past year. Overall, as a school, we met the state average in math at 34%, and we just missed the state average in ELA at 41%, with the state average being 43%. Third grade and sixth grade both exceeded state averages in both subject areas. Really proud about that. We had some pockets of success in other grade levels as well that just missed the mark. But as far as reaching those academic goals and recovering from the learning loss that took place, we really hit it hard last year, and under some adverse conditions, we were able to really make up some good ground. So we are happy to continue that growth this year. We are continuing to focus on improving attendance. Even though we met the state average on our report card, which will come out on Wednesday, we still feel like there's some room for growth with attendance levels and making sure that 95% of our students are in school every single day. This month, our focus for teachers, they've decided that they would like to focus on Danielson's framework, questioning and discussion techniques. So we've really been working to review higher order questions throughout lessons, talk to students about what they're learning, make some of those connections between the content, and help them to kind of just dive a little deeper into that. This year, thank you to the other elementary principals and to Kevin in the business office. We have worked hard to create some learning experiences outside the classroom. We have some district-wide sponsored field trips that we were able to get up and started for all elementary kids, grade level bands across the district. So we're really happy about getting back out and getting students opportunities to do some hands-on learning outside the classroom. Our professional development this year, teachers have decided they would like help tackling the motivational and inspirational loss that took place over the pandemic. So we're actually doing a school-wide book study about ways to intrinsically improve students' motivation and help them re-engage in the learning process. Because when we made that shift to online, we found that a lot of students become unengaged. So we're trying to re-engage that process and come back. And we're really proud of this year our work with our intervention programs to help support learning loss with students, help get those academic areas back up, and really work to achieve our greatest potential as much as we can. I would echo what Todd said. iReady has been a blessing to help us find some of those holes, be able to fill in some of those lessons and learning situations that we look to help with that. So we hope that program is around and continues in years to come, because that's been very beneficial. Questions? Thank you.
She lost me, so I feel good. No. Thank you.
Thank you. You're okay.
That's because I was late. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Yes, it's all your fault.
Michelle is my saving grace. She knows technology, and I do not. So thank you so much, Michelle. And I apologize, we put a few things, so those of you who know me, and all of you do for a while, so the here and now, where we're looking, 2021 graduation rate, when the school report card, which will come out soon, these are numbers that we looked at, and what we did up there was versus the state, and not that I'm against the state, but I'm competitive, and so our team really says things against. So we had the total of Sweet Home High School, we were 82% grad rate versus state's 81. Not enough distance there, but we want to get a little bit more. Homeless rate, Sweet Home High School 63 versus state at 55. Students with disabilities is one that we really look at because we have a high number of students in the district with disabilities. Our Sweet Home rate was high school was 74% versus state at 66. And economically disadvantaged, which is free and reduced lunch, and our kids are struggling, 83% versus a state of 77. Now, for all of those numbers for the graduation rate, just several years ago, we were at 71% for 3 years in a row. And so we're making some positive gains in spite of COVID being around. State testing, trying to look for bright spots. My peers had many more bright spots. The participation rate far exceeded the state average. When I looked at the average, it kind of surprised me because we were over 90 and the state was at 55, 56 as far as participation. So a lot of the kids across the state, at least the high school level, were not taking the test. Our 11th grade in math and ELA were below the state averages, which is things that we don't like. I'm trying to figure out reasons why things are. A couple years ago, before pandemic, those scores on the state test for 11th graders carried over into senior for graduation. They don't now. And so they don't have to score at a certain level or pass a certain test in order to graduate. And my kids are pretty darn smart, and they figured that out. So we're continuing, and I've got some things that we think are going to help further down. A really exciting one for me, now what I want to tell you is that 2021 grad rate, that information is 2021. So our graduation, our kids that just graduated last year in June, that won't come to us. I'll be back and ask Terry to present you guys another in-depth little thing, letting us know how we did with the class of 2022. The next information, though, the 2022 ninth grade on track, in the report card, they'll give you 2022 data for that group, but a year back for the seniors. And I don't, it's been that way forever, and I don't know why, but exciting stuff. Ninth grade on track. We live in two places at the high school. Graduation rate and ninth grade on track. Ninth grade on track, Sweet Home High School, 86% versus the state's 83. That's our overall. But the ones that get really exciting about down below, our homeless rate, 82% ninth grade on track, where if you go up above, 63% was our grad rate. Ninth grade on track ties almost directly into grad rate. So we look for increases there. Students with disabilities, 83%, we go back up, it was 74. Economic disadvantage, 86, we go back up and it was 83. So we're looking for good times ahead. We're excited about that. And looking ahead, Danielson Focus, components 2A, creating an environment of respect and rapport, and 2B, establishing a culture for learning. To support our Danielson Focus, we have adopted some core, and Steve mentioned that, some core values, and so I've got a great team, Nate Tyler, Aaron Huff, my assistant principals, and then we have a guiding coalition. So they're great people, and so when I go someday, nobody's gonna miss me because I have great folks. And these are the things that Steve was talking about, non-negotiables. And sometimes people, that's a little bit harsh. We're out of COVID now, we're getting back to learning. And so the cell phone things, appropriate language, respect, standard school attire, getting back to some basics. And this was supported by my administrative team, my guiding coalition, and our staff. Steve's part of the guiding coalition, but our entire staff. And then the others, the core values, it's 5 simple ones, and each one tied to. So one family, there's a theme that we adopted a few years ago. One town, one school, one high school, one family. Rise up, overcome where you're at. Own it. You do something good or bad, you own it because it is yours. Expect more, constantly trying to get better, and then we are Sweet Home High School. Steve Thorpe, love him to death. Our kids now at some ball games, they start talking about, we are, and it used to be Husky, right? We are one town, one school, one family. We have a lot of great stuff going on. So, and I wanted to thank back there the non-negotiables and core values. We have posters at the high school. These are on the walls in classroom. We comment on kids. There's something will happen. Yeah, I didn't need to own this, man. And the kids are responding well. And the one thing I wanted to thank you so much, Barbie, and school district, to help improve the state testing scores, and we need to get better on them. District has provided iReady interim assessments. So, as Steve said, and so much more eloquently than this old guy, but we're in a good place and we're moving forward. So, thank you for having me. Any questions about our stuff? Thank you. And boss, is okay? I get a ball game and sorry, we got some stuff to supervise. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, strategic plan progress. Pillar 1, outstanding achievement. These are some of the things that we've taken with the refrain that you heard from the schools reporting. We're not standing back from the data. It's not as good as what we'd like, our achievement, but we're also coming up with plans. You also heard from each school plans that they have to lead us out of that. It's not just something local, it's across the state, across the nation. Not being in our wheelhouse with kids in school every day, achievement took a hit with that. So, outstanding achievement, we had iReady assessment training for K-12 with principals and teacher data leaders on 9/28. iReady is an adaptive test. We're doing it K through 12. So it zeroes in on the student's ability, and then the questions, continue. So we're excited. That'll be 3 times. We just administered the first round, then we'll do it in the winter and then again in the spring. We've got ongoing professional development for our classified staff from a U of O professor that's in district on Wednesdays. That particular professor started out as a classified employee and has worked her way up through the system, and now she's at U of O and teaching classes. They had offered this out through the ESD to be held at the Albany Fairgrounds, I believe it was, and they didn't get the response they were looking for, and so we stepped in and invited them over here, and so now that's happening right here in the boardroom, so nice to see. Grade Band professional learning community meetings happened on the 28th across the district and was led by our experienced staff. And so instead of bringing people in to speak, we're having our own leaders step up and coach their peers. So I feel really good about that. And then we have mentor-mentee meetings taking place for our new staff across the district as well. So I think we've got some strong programs going there. Thriving Citizen, Pillar 2. Student lunch with the superintendent's been set up for the high school and mid-school. My goal is to get just deeper embedded here directly from the students. Have them come in, have lunch, just talk about how things are from their perspective. Just day in and day out. ESPY Awards, we kicked that off tonight. So that was a great turnout for us. We had, I think, 4 missing with the late arrival. We ended up with 3, so I suspect our secretaries can be thanked for that. I think they're reaching out, probably the principals too, but I think the secretaries are reaching out, really trying to get the folks to come in for those, so that's great to see. Pillar 3, Thriving Community. The Orange Frog, what Steve didn't say is that the Orange Frog training was requested by the high school. And things worked out with teacher and learning. So we had the initial kickoff, we had some training of the building leaders and some teacher leaders, but the folks at the high school said, hey, the keynote that we had wasn't the full training that was available. As a group, they wanted the full training, and so we were able to get that to happen. And so that's pretty neat to see that. And so high school staff building wide, and then it was also opened up to interested classified staff able to attend. It's about culture, increasing our happiness, increasing our performance. The schools actually selected which of the Danielson areas to focus on, and quite a few focused on that classroom environment, the working on rapport, And so that goes hand in hand with Orange Frog, so that's exciting to see. I met with Velma and have a meeting with Steve, and so that's ongoing. The meetings that we have just keep, they both, you know, if there's something going on, they pick up the phone and call me, text me. So we've got open lines of communication there. So pillar number 4, safe and welcoming facilities and services. Fire and EMS have been added to the lunch with students at their request. So fire and EMS heard that the police officers were stopping in for lunch, and so they asked if they could too. They invoke, in bargaining, you call that Me Too, so they invoked the Me Too clause. And what a neat thing to have, you know, getting those folks into our schools and around our kids and, you know, students in a non-threatening way. I think that's going to turn out really well, I think. And then our long-term planning visits continue as we look to other schools, guide us in part on what the latest practices are for upcoming updating facilities. And then finally, it is Principal Appreciation Month. And so make sure and tell our folks you appreciate them. I certainly do. And we'll have a meeting later on this month, is scheduled on the 20th. So we'll remind them. Any questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Nothing for Terry? All right. Later on the agenda, we have adoption of a Division 22 standards. So right now is an open period for public comment about that. There's no public here other than Benny. Any public?
Got anything, Benny?
All right, moving on then. Consent agenda, approve the minutes from September 12, 2022, declare as surplus from the high school. Those items there, they've been in the list for a while, and then declare as surplus from the high school band room, miscellaneous chairs, and all that stuff listed there, clear down through all that paragraph. And approve a hire of Marissa Russell as a temp 5th grade teacher at Foster Elementary for this school year. And accept the resignation of Abigail O'Neill Burns, 5th grade teacher at Foster Elementary, effective immediately. And I think there's a hire down later for her.
I would move that we adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same? So moved. And I think Kevin's up for a bunch of items here in their information discussion. Kevin?
Okay, thanks, Mike. First item, 7A in the board packet, budget update. We're now 3 months into our fiscal year. Year-to-date spending is just over $281,000 higher than the same time period last year. The most significant reason for the increase is higher classified labor expenses. Part of that is due to the wage increase that was negotiated, but the largest part of it is we have hired a lot of additional classified support staff members this year, and so we've been busy hiring, and that's reflected in what you see in the spending. So some of the money that we'll be getting from additional enrollment is going there to additional classified support to help support those students.
Okay. Questions on that? Kevin?
Okay, next item, 7B. Lynn County just released property tax information last week. As far as for the Sweet Home School District, the bond rate decreased by 3 cents per thousand. To just put that into context, if you go back 20 years ago, it was at $1.91 per thousand. It has now dropped to $1.50 per thousand. It's also worth pointing out that prior to the 2017 bond, it was at $1.62 per thousand. One of our promises was that we would be able to maintain the tax rate with that bond. Not only have we maintained it, but due to growth in assessed value in the district, it's declined by another 12 cents a thousand.
More questions on that one? Right. Continue on.
Okay, 7C, this is an information item. Board policy allows the district to enter into a professional services agreement if the amount is $75,000 or less. We have one for design development work for improvements at Okitis Elementary School, where the architect came in with a price of $73,000. It's below that $75,000 threshold, but just for transparency, we wanted the board to be aware of this, just so you know what we're working on, especially given how close it was to that board policy threshold.
Okay, appreciate that. Any questions on that?
ESSER? Yes, we've already received approval to use federal elementary and secondary schools emergency relief funds for that expense. That's what it was, right? What the acronym stood for. Okay, thanks.
Any more questions on that one? Okay, the Jamboree.
Okay, final one, 7D. This is information from Larry Johnson, who's one of the supervisors with the Oregon Jamboree. He wanted us to report that this year school-related groups earned a combined $44,446 while assisting with the 2022 Oregon Jamboree.
Wow. Great. Any questions on that? Great, thanks, Kevin. Josh, it says you're up here for maintenance update.
So, our awesome maintenance team has been doing a good job just keeping up with the regular stuff that every fall is crazy. The roof leaks stop every summer, it's weird, and then just come back every fall. And then we've been working with IT, changing out cameras throughout the district, a lot at the high school, upgrading cameras and installing new ones. Installed a new, it's called Huddle camera. It's a different type of sports camera at the football field that should be up and going here before long. It's in addition to the other one. There's different things that we're trying to do with, working with IT to do that stuff. And the cool thing about cameras is that is a huge security thing. The more cameras, the better we can see. And so the different schools will tell us, hey, we got blind spots here or there, and we work with IT to come up with the type of camera, 180, 360, ones that can zoom in, however, to cover every spot. We poured concrete around the back of the metal shop. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a door put in so that they could use their new CNC machine through the back in a different area for better supervision, but then they couldn't get their forklift in there, so we've poured new concrete around there. We also poured concrete for new dugouts for softball, so we built those. They're built on steel frames, so they can fork off for Jamboree every year, and then we poured new concrete pads for those. Cleaned up the forestry area by the tennis courts, and then that's just a mud hole, the way that it drains in there. So then we just got done putting in new drainage through there, so that'll be able to drain out, and then they're gonna put new chips down, and it's gonna be a nice area there. The surplus stuff you saw, we're cleaning up stuff at the high school, cleaning up Crawfordsville. Crawfordsville ended up being a catch-all for a lot of the construction, and then new stuff gets bought or brought in, or things get, and they don't want the old stuff back. So we're going through that, throwing some away, but then there's some that's still decent, and so we wanted to go ahead and see if we could sell some of that. So that'll be up. It's just the quick little extra things that we got going on. Any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Josh. And that says Barbie's up for some Vision 22 stuff. Should be 7F in your packet.
So this would be in 7F. And this is a report on compliance with public school standards, or Division 22. It's required for us to share and get community comments and report to the community on the 55 areas of compliance. And out of 55 areas, we were out of compliance in 2 last year, and we had till the beginning of this school year to approve those tasks and complete both tasks. So the 2 areas that we were out of compliance were first aid CPR per school, health services. So more specifically, we were lacking CPR cards for each building. There's a certain amount of numbers. And I'm pleased to note that we have fulfilled the requirement, and all of our buildings have the standard amount of licensed staff with their CPR cards. The other area was providing a suicide prevention plan. We completed that, and it is uploaded to our website. So I'm happy to report that we are compliant in all 55 areas.
Excellent. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Barbie.
Thank you.
All right, you can see in your packet, you got a huge list of more policies to look at this next month under Area I, and there is an end in sight. J's are the last, right? So please look over these, and if you have any questions, send them off to Terry and Julie, or Julie. And so that's that, and then another update from the Jamboree about some use. Yeah, who's taking that one on?
How about, I'll take it, and Terry, feel free to add. Okay, thanks, Mike. 7H, and this is in the revised agenda. What it is a request from the Oregon Jamboree asking for permission to host a Music and Brews Festival at the school district-owned parking lot north of the high school on April 15th and 16th, 2023. Currently, we have board policies KGB and KGAR that prohibit alcohol on district property. So if we were to allow this event, those policies would have to be modified. And we would appreciate direction from the board if that is something that you would want us to consider. We don't need action tonight, we just are asking for direction. From surveying other school districts, we were able to find one school district that does have a policy allowing limited alcohol consumption on school property. That's the Springfield School District. The Springfield Drifters baseball team helped pay for a new baseball stadium near Hamlin Middle School in Springfield. It's where Springfield High School plays. If you haven't seen it, it's a beautiful facility, turf field, lots of seating. It's part of the agreement between the Springfield Drifters and the Springfield School District. The Drifters asked to be able to serve alcohol at games, and Springfield modified its board policy and also developed an alcohol use agreement. Beyond that, we're not aware of any other districts that have board policies that allow alcohol consumption on school grounds.
So what are the reasons for using this? Why are they wanting this space?
What we have been told, last year they had the Music and Brews Festival in the parking lot that would be west of the Rio Theater, and what we were told is that that is unavailable to the Jamboree this year, and that's why they've asked us for permission to use the parking lot across Long Street from the high school.
It's the same parking lot that's not permitted for use for the Rio Theater as well. Same one.
Right. Any thoughts?
My thoughts are don't do it.
I'm okay with it for that event, as long as we adopt it. I was reading the Springfield policies, and it looks like they covered everything, including a $2 million insurance, property damage and liability insurance certificate, maybe the school district. But that's my feeling.
I don't think it'd be selective, I don't think it'd be the modified policy, I don't think it'd be that specific, I wouldn't think. As far as, you know what I'm saying, if you're gonna allow it, you're probably gonna allow it to.
Like at sporting events and stuff like that.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, maybe just that particular piece of property, could be that specific, so it's not on an actual campus, you know, or stuff like that, I don't know, but,
I do like the idea of requiring us as an additional insured on a couple $1 million or more insurance policy. Just from a liability perspective. And I don't know what, who approached you, Kevin, from the Jamboree?
It was the festival director, Robert Shannon.
So I think last year, they had said that this has been going on in other places. They've been doing things like this for the Jamboree in Corvallis and other places before. It just hadn't been doing it in Sweet Home. Last year was the first year that they did it in Sweet Home on that other piece of property.
I know that in years past, there was an event that the Jamboree sponsored in Corvallis that was held I believe on the Oregon State campus. And their colleges typically have different rules than school districts.
Yeah. And so I think that was the precursor to this, but this is a much smaller piece of property than where they had it last year.
I would have to, our parking lot is fairly large. I would have to measure it to be able to compare size-wise.
Last year there was street parking, there was also parking at the high school. I know I had my RV at the high school. There's only 2 or 3 RVs there, with myself included. I'm not aware of any incidents that happened last year. Not aware of a response from law enforcement. It was actually a pretty small event, and I don't think they had the numbers that, at least not on Friday, that they were hoping for. I don't know if they're downsizing this year or not. I know that costs have gone up significantly, so they're just trying to find a place to try to have it.
It's kind of contemplated OLCC license, fenced-in area.
Well, it's a
Is that
completely
kinda what it looked
enclosed
like
tent.
last year?
and-
Just an enclosed tent.
Yeah, and my understanding is the plan this year is not to allow, so last year they had, kids could come until like 8 PM or 9 PM, and then it was adults 21 and over only. They had vendors in there selling crafts and whatnot. This year they're not going to have games for kids or kids at all there. They want to do 21 and over only.
If I read the Springfield one, they also gave them a 4-hour limit when they can serve alcohol. So there's 4-hour time, right? Is that what it says?
That's my understanding, yes.
Some of that comes from OLCC too.
Yeah, and also they checked with Lane County restrictions. They might get, obviously we'd have to check with Lynn County.
It really probably will go with whatever the loudspeaker permit from the city goes, whatever time.
Yeah, a lot of
And that's
times-
usually like midnight or something, that they hit that number, magic
I think
number.
it was 11 last year.
Yeah, something like, whatever their magic number is, that's where everything stopped before that time.
Well, a lot of times cities and counties through ordinance have an outdoor assembly permit essentially, and
Yes.
you know, they say this loud, these hours, this many porta potties, this much security.
Sweet Home has all that,
They
yeah.
kind of set it all in.
Kevin, do you know if they've looked at other venues?
What
Like
Robert
the fairgrounds?
What Robert told me is he looked and he felt that this would work the best for the event. You know, with that said, you know, the tough thing, I'm going to use a door analogy. Right now, when it comes to alcohol on district property, the door is shut. If you allow this or anything else, even craft, it does open the door for other requests. That doesn't mean we have to grant them, but right now the door is shut. And do we want to allow that crack in the door? Talking from our insurance company, what they said, and they were talking about Springfield, is that, the upside for this school district was huge from allowing it, as far as basically they got a brand new turf baseball field stadium. And asking, is the upside for the district in allowing this enough, given what comes with it? And that really is a question for you as the board. Knowing too, that the Jamboree has been a long time excellent community partner.
But I don't think the upside would be the same as it would be for the Jamboree, with the kids getting, or the sports groups or whatnot, getting 44,000 plus during the summer event. This is just a spring, early spring?
Yeah.
So the fairgrounds would be wet and muddy, most likely. So they're looking for a paved or concrete area to put a giant tent on, and I would imagine that there would be some financial gain for groups or whatever, but it wouldn't be the same as the Jamboree.
Do we know if this conflicts with any kind of school district event?
At this point, we've not even checked into that. And that's a good question, is that, in April, the spring sports season is well underway, and we want to make sure that, we don't have something in that same area.
I'm hearing really only one big no, but anybody else?
It's worth looking into.
I'd say it probably would do no harm in looking into what a policy would look like. The Springfield one, no, is very specific to that venue.
Correct.
And I would like ours to be something very specific as well. No open doors for other spots without another alteration, I guess. So we're gonna keep the thing pretty tight, be controlled. But I see no harm in looking into that policy change and bring it back to us at some point in time.
Will do.
All right? Okay, so moving on. Back into action items. I'm sorry, now we're start action items. We're going to approve the ELL curriculum adoption postponement that Barbie talked about earlier. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the ELL curriculum adoption postponement.
Second.
And second from Jim. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. So moved. And in your packet, there's this thing here to appoint Henry Bloomberg to the Budget Committee Zone, position number 7. And, yeah. Might be a good fit.
I move that we appoint Henry Blumberg to the Budget Committee position number 7 at large.
I second that.
All right, Mike got that one, that second. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. So moved. Then I need to approve the Division 22 standards that Barbie talked about earlier as well.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. So moved. And you need to have a request for exemption from the competitive bidding utilizing sole source procurement. I don't know who wants to talk about that.
Sure. Okay, thanks, Mike. Item 8D in the board packet. We are planning to use additional elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds to update HVAC systems at Oak Heights Elementary School, Hawthorne Elementary School, and Sweet Home High School. The control systems for those, and Josh, please join me, or if I say something incorrect, they are all The manufacturer is a company called Allerton. There is only one company in Oregon that is an authorized dealer for Allerton products. It's a company called ECC. And so per board policy, we need to come to the board and ask for your permission to use sole source procurement. Included in the board packet is a posting from the Salem Kaiser School District. They also have a school with Allerton products, and they had to do the exact same thing that we're requesting of you. They looked into it, found out that ECC is the only authorized dealer in the state, and so because of that, they had to get board approval, and we're asking the same so we can proceed with those HVAC improvements at those 3 schools.
So moved.
Yeah. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? So moved. And then there's also approved a seismic rehabilitation grant. Basically, this is just a letter that we're sending in to kind of help us along, but it's got our board, all our board members' names on it, so that's why I asked them to bring it here tonight. And Kevin, you know, if you want to discuss this a little bit?
Sure. We've been applying for seismic grants for Oak Heights Elementary School every year since 2016. We are hoping that a letter from the board may make 2023 the year that we finally get awarded a grant. So we're, you know, with your approval, we'll submit this letter to the state.
So moved. Second.
Any more discussion?
Is something OSBA suggested?
No, it's something really just, I think, out of frustration for how Oak Heights continues to get overlooked that we brought to you guys.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? So moved. Is there any board comments? Speaking of Brooke earlier, I don't know if you guys had noticed this, but there's a weekly, at least lately it's been a weekly news YouTube video that the high school puts out. Brooke was one of the ones that's on there, I think, that help other kids. So it's kind of fun to watch, and you should check it out.
What do you put in Bend High School?
I don't know what shirt the channel's called. They have their, do you know, someone back there that knows?
We will share it to the district Facebook page, and then you can access it from there.
I follow it, so I see it, so apparently I'm already subscribed. I get notified when it's there. Any other comments? All right, so no late items I'm aware of, and next board officers meeting is November 7 in Terry's office. OSBA's 2022 annual convention is November 11 to 13th in Portland, Marriott. If you're interested, talk to Julie. And the next board meeting is November 14, 6:30 in this boardroom. Thanks for coming. We're adjourned.